And lastly, we have technocrat sweep U.S. health officials, tech executives to launch data sharing plan. How are you doing today, Patrick?
I'm doing great. I just said before we started, you can't make this stuff up. We're like living in a Fantastic Four video, where all the cartoon characters, whatever, and it looks like a science fiction world. And we just spin our head, looking at all these stories. It's amazing, absolutely amazing.
Yep.
This first story, I love this because I've been talking about smart meters for years, ever since they started. In fact, I followed the first company that was producing smart meters in North Idaho, believe it or not, and I was living in North Idaho at the time. And there was a company that was starting to make the smart meters for utility companies. And I looked at it, examined it, whatever. I said, this is not good, because that was going to be a tool of mass surveillance at this point. And all of a sudden, yes, we see a story here that says, your smart meter is a tool of mass surveillance. Lo and behold. I feel bad for all the people. There's a lot of people upset over the radiation that these smart meters, gave off, and I understand that. I have my own radiation detection unit. I tested my smart meter multiple times, and I get it. It's not good for you, for sure. But that was not the big issue, I don't think. They wanted you to fight the radiation while the Internet of Things was just ramping up. And basically that means your ladder was leaning on the wrong wall. I'm sorry, but I think that's the way it's going to come down. So smart meters were and still are about surveillance, period. This was all in the view in the first place. There's a multitude of data revealed by your consumption patterns and your energy signatures within your home. All of this is pumped up through your wireless meter to your utility company, and then they take it and they sell all that data to whoever wants it, whoever will pay for it, and including police departments, I might add, who are all looking for people who are consuming lots of energy, perhaps to grow marijuana indoors. Who knows?
Yeah.
But this is a stunning story. Let's just play a couple of minutes of this video in here and just see what they're experiencing in Great Britain right now.
All right, here we go.
Frankly, the four of the big six energy companies, including British Gas and Octopus, now refuse to install traditional meters when replacing equipment. I don't imagine they have any these days. The original deadline for all households to have a smart meter was 2020, man alive, with Ofgem investigation suppliers over missed installation targets. So let's get a word on this. Jasmine Birtles, financial and business journalist, is with us. Jasmine, good afternoon to you. At one point in life, you were worthless. You were nothing without your smart meter. I think it was for a brief moment. It was a badge of honour for people to have one of these things. But they became controversial rather quickly.
Yes, they did. In fact, originally I was actually part of the rollout of smart meters, and it sounded like a good idea. But that's before I realised what smart really means. I mean, I now replace the word smart with the word prison whenever I see it. Prison meters, prison buildings, prison cities, prison phone, frankly, because smart doesn't actually mean clever. It means surveillance. It means monitoring. That is literally that's what it is. I'm trying to think what the acronym is. It's an acronym. It's like surveillance, monitoring, and some technology. So I think we really don't need yet more surveillance, and we're getting it in the West particularly. It's coming in, and we're just sort of allowing it in because, well, we're being told to. As you say, they're now, well, British Gas and Octopus apparently insisting on putting in smart meters. Well, we should have a choice of that. Do we want to be monitored or do we not? And we should not be forced to have these surveillance systems put in our homes.
Yeah, and that is the point, isn't it? Even if it's innocuous, for the greater good, shall we say? It's a great way of working out how much the country is spending here and how much energy, how you could be more efficient. Who doesn't want to save a few quid? Even if it was for that reason, the fact that it is a form of surveillance, much like so many other areas of life these days, it's a genuine concern. It's not a conspiratorial concern. There's a real reason why you might be bothered by that.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I have people on both sides who are getting in touch with me through my website, Money Magpie. I have people who have been telling me that, firstly, their smart meter doesn't work. So they still have to do estimated readings and they have to get somebody round to do a final reading, So that's a problem. Secondly, sometimes they do work, but they work too well and they give dodgy readings. So that suddenly their bills have gone up. But then
let's go ahead and kill us at that point. Yeah, you get the idea. You get the idea what they're struggling with over there. I love this woman. She talks about smart meters, smart phones, smart growth, all that. And she says she now she substitutes the word smart with prison. I like that. I like that terminology.
Yeah.
Prison. Or you could probably substitute another word, but prison meters, prison
control.
Phones.
Control
exactly,
meters.
It's all about control. And what's come out at this point, the police in one locale, and in any case, the police are actually using the data from the smart meters. I think this is Sacramento, actually.
Yeah, Sacramento's power company and law enforcement agency.
Yeah, so they're falsely tagging people for doing bad things with their power. That's stunning. You would not think there would be a crossover between your smart meter to the police department, wouldn't you? You wouldn't think that. But that's what's happening. And that's just one example. But your meter can tell everything about your home and your habits and everything. It's stunning, the information that comes off your meter. And it communicates with all the devices in your home, because that was settled with legislation during the Obama years, where they forced the adoption of putting a circuit board into every major appliance, including dishwashers, refrigerators, heaters, that sort of thing. And all of this information can be pumped out wirelessly through your smart meter. Well, it knows when you take a shower. It knows what that's your habit, right? It knows when you're not home, for sure. And it can tell from the signatures of your motors starting up, they can tell exactly the model and the type and the year of all of your appliances in your house, house as well. That's incredibly detailed information.
Yeah,
and
I did not know that.
Wow, it's just well. In any case, this is a bad thing. Most people in America and Europe and Great Britain, they already have smart meters.
Yep.
Unfortunately.
Well, I guess we're lucky we don't have any here, or else I'm sure we'd be getting some questions with the amount of power that we pull.
Probably so. Yeah, exactly.
All right. We're going to go on to the best.
Yeah. Let's do it.
We got Besant calls for fundamental reset for Federal Reserve. What is he calling for here?
Well, these are fighting words, in my opinion. This is the harshest attack I think we've had this year so far. We know that President Trump has been dissing the Federal Reserve all along. He doesn't like the policies that they have been setting for interest rates, especially. But this is the harshest attack I think at this point. And just listen to the cynicism and the sarcasm in Bessent's statement, where he says, all these PhDs over there, I don't know what they do. This is like universal basic income for academic economists. What a slap in the face. What is he thinking? Well, I've been saying for a long time that these technocrat piranhas in Washington, D.C. would like to devour the Fed altogether and get rid of it because it's going to conflict with their new economic system or a new monetary system that they're erecting right now, all based on stable coins. And you can see the punches are being thrown, right?
Yeah. And we're not really for the Fed either, but the Fed's a private organization basically.
Yes.
And what they are trying to do is take over and let them run the monetary system basically. They're not doing it because they don't like the Fed or they don't agree with the Fed. They want the control, most of them. Exactly.
That's exactly right. And I think we're going to see this escalate from this point forward. There's calls from other quarters to audit the Fed for sure, to make a review of their construction, all the money they've been spending on a construction, remodeling the Fed. Mm-hmm. And, so yeah, you can see the handwriting is on the wall. If I were an employee of the Fed, I would be running scared right now.
Yeah, and
because these people.
This is kind of how you've talked about before, how the tech bros are going to go after the deep state per se, and everyone will be cheering them on, but it's not because of they're trying to root out corruption. It's because they're trying to take over what the deep state is currently running.
I wish it was some other reason. It's just very thin at this point. Yes, it's out with the old and in with the new.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line.
Well, we're at a break.
We got a break.
Yep. We'll be back here in just a moment.
So please make a donation to Worldview Foundation, set up as a recurring donation. That's how we do this. Look, he doesn't charge me anything to produce my show. My compensation is that production. And when you look at that production, it is phenomenal, and it exceeds, in many cases, production quality of Fox News and the other big outlets. So I'm very grateful for that. And this is about free speech. Look, when I set up my website, robmanus.com, in mid-March of 2020, to go from a campaign website to a news website, a conservative news website, by the end of September, we were generating over 1 million views a month, getting $10,000 a month in pre-tax revenue in, and I'm like, man, this is really taking off. And on 1 October, Facebook said, we're gonna suppress every conservative account, and I had 200,000 followers. That's what was driving my ability to get 1 million views a month to the website, and they suppressed it 1 October of 2020 for the election. And I've never been able to make a dime off of it ever again. It won't even support itself. Worldview Foundation, Worldview Tube, Worldview Radio. The show lives there live Monday through Thursday. Brandon lets me pull in a live X Spaces audience that I take questions from, so it's like a combination of television and radio, which is amazing. I love doing it that way. And it's because he gave us this opportunity through the Worldview Foundation and continues to do that. And this is all about free speech. And that's where we've got to stay, because as Dr. Wood said, if we lose free speech, that's it. That's the beginning of the end.
All right, welcome back from the break. We left off talking about this story here. Bessent calls for fundamental reset for the Federal Reserve. So what is it that the Trump administration and Bessent are calling for when it comes to digital currency? Because I know Trump's come out and said he's not going to do a CBDC, but we are looking like we're going to head toward the digital currency at some point.
We are, and you have to understand that the Federal Reserve, their only authority was to manage the currency. That nothing other than the currency. So it's a payment system, and we all are subject to it. We have dollars in our pocket, and we have dollars in your bank account. Those are digital dollars, by the way, but they're not trackable. You can't, even the money in your bank account, it's not specifically trackable by purchase, for instance. So, but the difference between what the central bank might have done with central bank digital currencies versus what this new system, parallel system that Trump has created, this is altogether different because now it's an asset-based system, not a debt-based system. What I mean by that is the tokens that are associated with blockchain and the digital currency, those tokens can contain all kinds of information about the transaction as it's being done in the first place. So all of your spending habits can be certainly tracked, and the money can be programmable. So if they don't want you to spend it on something, you can be blocked from spending it on that. But the asset nature now. Trump is intending, I'm absolutely positive at this point, Trump is intending to digitize other assets other than monetary assets. And I think we're going to see probably, this is the first instances of this will be to monetize real estate held by the United States in the first place. That's right. This is a way to unlock the wealth in our system and make it available for other things.
And the pitch will be that it's going to be more stable than the dollar because it's not a fiat, it's actually backed by something, correct?
That's exactly right. Yeah. So this new system is altogether different. It's competing only for the monetary side in that sense. But the Fed never had the ability to monetize or digitize anything. Mm-hmm. Never in its view. And even if they rolled out a CBCD at this point, it couldn't do any more than just a payment system. So the thing that people were concerned about with the Fed then was the Fed wanted to set up a system where you and me could establish an account with the Federal Reserve as a bank account and store our money in their bank account versus the commercial bank or the private bank that you belong to here, like your checking account and so on. Well, that set off a lot of signals to people, and this is one reason that there's legislation rolling through Congress right now to block that concept of having the Fed setting up private bank accounts. Uh-huh. Obviously, that would destroy the banking system if they did that, because who would want to keep your money in Wells Fargo if you can keep it in the Fed? That's a no-brainer, right?
Yeah.
So, in any case, the Fed is an also ran organization at this point. I think they're dead. They're going to be dead in the waters at some point, and you can see the handwriting on the wall. And I'll tell you what, I've never seen such a harsh, sarcastic statement of an official, where he said all these PhDs over there, I don't know what they do. This is like universal basic income for academic economists. Holy mackerel! If I was a PhD over there, I would be so insulted right now and just freaking out. You can't say that. What do you mean? We earned all those PhDs, and we earn our money, whatever. But well, we know actually he's probably right. But Bassett is probably right.
Yeah.
Maybe this is like universal basic income for academic economists.
Yep. But the scary part is that once it's taken over, then once it's put into a digital currency backed by land or something like that, everything we buy, everything we do can be tracked and monitored, and privacy is out the window at that point.
Exactly. Yeah. So here we go. Technocratic sweep. Health officials, tech executives. Oh boy, they're all getting together on the same page now to create a unified system of sharing health information with everybody in the world, including your doctors, I suppose, but everybody else as well. This is a stunning story. And one thing really caught my eye is this woman who all of a sudden shows up on this video we're going to play in just a second. Her name is Amy Gleason. She's the administrator of Doge. Yes, that's that Doge, the one that Elon Musk promoted, right?
Uh-huh.
Elon Musk was never in charge of Doge. He was never the administrator. This woman was the administrator of Doge from the get-go. So what the heck's going on here? I thought Elon Musk was in charge of Doge and he was calling all the shots.
Yeah.
Not so. It was Amy Gleason at the bottom of it, and as we'll see in this video, she shows up. So let's just play this. This is a short one.
Here we go.
I want to thank all of you for coming. The big challenge that we have here, and the big challenge the American health system, is aligning the outcomes that we want with the economic system. What we have now is a sick care system that's just this bundle of perverse incentives. Our job here over the next 4 years is to disrupt that system and to democratize it.
I want you all to recognize that this is a sentinel moment in the digital transformation and modernization of the healthcare system in this country.
How do we make sure that this golden age of information technology that we're in translates over? How do we take this vast amount of data and turn it into something that the doctors and patients can use to make patients better?
We have a vision that technology can help empower patients with good information. Not just tons of information, but useful information.
Let's stop asking if the tech and standards are ready and ask if we are. And here at HHS, we are.
And we are open for business. That's the main message. We are open for business to hear from the private sector in how we transform medicine so it actually serves the American people more effectively.
Freedom and markets are the answers to almost all of our problems. We want to release and unleash market forces so that people are able to make rational choices. I thank you all very much for being part of this, and I look forward to working with all of you.
Produced by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
All right. Well, some of that sounds like it's good, but what are they really saying?
Well, what do you think? What do you read through that?
I mean, they didn't really give that video didn't really give a clear statement of what they are talking about putting together, other than, I mean, from what I get from the headline is that they're putting together some type of system that shares patient records with, a one big system that all healthcare professionals use to access patient records.
Well, that would be part of it for sure. But you might remember that RFK Jr. just released a statement, I think, of 2 weeks ago. I think we had a show on that, where he said, I want all of you Americans in 4 years to have a wearable health device installed on your body, right? That means a watch, perhaps a smartwatch, a Fitbit, one of these rings now they have, the health rings that monitor actually all of your statistics. And it pumps it into the cloud where it can be read by who knows whatever.
So what you're saying is they might be talking about putting together a system where they can monitor people's health in real time. And
that's different. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Imagine when the next pandemic comes along and they have this sensor, all of these sensors all installed on people's bodies, right?
Yeah, and you get
And
sick,
you
can hear a knock at your door, and you're getting taken off to COVID camp.
That's right. You can, if they can sense that before it happens, they can head it off. That's certainly in their mind. But we don't want them to do that in the first place. There's none of their business at this point to manage, quote unquote, public health. That's an oxymoron. There's no such thing as public health. Health is a one-off, you and me, or you and your doctor, or your practitioner. That's your business, not anybody else's business. Not to collect all the data on everybody around the country. And this is exactly what they want to do right now. And you might be surprised. Oh, Palantir is going to be at the top of that whole system to analyze the data coming off the health care system and make sense of it, and then figure out, well, what can we plan for in the future here? And I don't like the sound of this at all, not at all. And whatever benefits they say they're going to have, if you look at it from their point of view, all the data that's coming into their system at this point is all going to be processed by AI. You know it is, because that's the only thing in sight right now. And AI will be making all the decisions for health from this point forward.
Yep. And this is just another thing that these data centers will be used for.
That's right.
Is collecting and monitoring and sifting through everyone's health data.
That's right. Wow. Stunning, huh?
Well, and that was yesterday, correct? That was a
Yes, exactly.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're all out of time for today. It's getting to the point where we could almost have 3 or 4 stories to talk about a day, but we'll be back on Tuesday. I pull
the punches all the time. I don't post a lot of articles. I could, but I try to pick the ones that are really interesting.
Yep. Well, we'll be back on Tuesday with a new episode. Till then, take care.
God bless.
I'll tell you one little quick story. We had a Worldview Weekend client who lived in California, lost their house, very wealthy guy. He didn't use Bitcoin. He came over here, drove to Arizona with $286,000 worth of his gold because he had no money and no house available. His bank was shut down because he couldn't have access to his bank account.
Was this during the fire? Was this during the fires?
During the fire. Didn't have his driver's license. He lost it. The state wouldn't give him a new license because he had no active mailing address. Real mess. So he came to Arizona to buy a house. He's moving everything over. He said, the only thing I got in my possession that I can get liquid with right now is my gold. I gave him a check for $286,000, and guess what? I didn't need his social, his driver's license. Sort of smiled, and I said,